yeah, so I started this thing called the Ash Foundation, and the basic idea is people who want treatment, who can't afford it. So people who might even be like homeless, um, basically for the reason of addiction, right? Like they've just completely burnt down their life. They don't have anywhere to go. They don't have any other options. Family aren't there to help them, right? I want there to be a way for those people to get help, right? Because when I was there, right, I had burnt some bridges, but I didn't, my mom was pretty, consistently there for me and had the funds or resources, or was able to get the resources to help me get into treatment. And, but I was kind of skating on thin ice there, right? Like if I had said no again, or like not asked at that point, like I was definitely headed towards being homeless, like actually homeless, because they had, I had been kicked out. My truck was broken down. It was towed. So I got out of jail second time in a week, and, like I didn't have anywhere to go. I was like, this is, and like, that was my rock bottom. It was where I asked for help. And so I started this foundation to help people who get to that place, but don't have the resources from family to be able to get there. And so we just actually yesterday accepted our first person and paid for their treatment, and they just got into treatment yesterday. So we did that golf tournament fundraiser, raised some good money, got some scholarships from different treatment centers, and I was able to, it was really cool. It was just like, wow, did that really just happen? Like this person just sent us an email just explaining like where they're at, and like, just, it's cool to be able to help someone in that position where it's like, this person probably would not have made it out. Like it's the kind of person that you'd see on the corner asking for money at that point, right? Where like they went into some like medical, like I think just a hospital, right? They're just detoxing in a hospital, and they sent us this email, like requesting help.
How did they find out about the Ash Foundation?
I don't know. Like I don't even know. Like it's kind of weird.
Cool.
Sometimes the universe works in mysterious ways. I will say
oftentimes,
that.
Maybe only.
Maybe it only works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I have my sights set on doing that a lot. Like I'm definitely really passionate about that. I'd like to just make the Ash Foundation as big as it can, so people, like I see, whether it's like doing bigger and bigger golf tournaments and things like that, or it's like hell being like, when you go to Taco Bell and it's like, hey, do you want to round up to support? Like maybe something like that, where it's like, you want to round up to support addicts who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford treatment, or something along those lines. Or it's just, I can see, I'm already obsessing about it a little bit. Like, hey, how could I, I'm looking at other like big nonprofits and how like they've done it, and try to sort of emulate and do some of those same things. Or even just the crowdfunding thing, like being able to, like I think there's lots of people who give out money to homeless people, and it's like, I think it's well intentioned, and sometimes I do that if in the right circumstances, but it's also being someone who is in that position. And I'm not saying all people who are homeless are addicted to drugs, but in a lot of cases that's kind of what got them there. And it can be like giving that money is just putting them deeper and deeper into a hole. And ultimately, like if that's same people, just like if you let's say you gave $20-$30 a month to, like people on the street, right? If you gave that same $20-$30 a month, and like hundreds of people, thousands of people were doing that every month, and they knew that maybe it just helps one person, right? Maybe it's just, like one person gets into treatment. But at least that they actually got somewhere, right? Like and there's not even a guarantee that you're going to get through treatment and make it, like, because even the statistics there aren't very good. But I do think there's something to be said for people who come from that place of, like, I think this will have a good way of finding people at their rock bottom. Like if you're, you know what I'm saying? Like I think it's a little different than treatment centers where, you might have some people come in, they're like, their mom wanted them to go. Not really sure. Maybe it's a good way to like just kind of, I'll just take a little break, or they get court ordered there or whatever. But like, I'm hoping that this is a good way to to funnel in the people who are at that point where, you know, like if you actually have the desire to get clean and it's, you know, at that point where you're willing to it's just a simple email, right? Like we asked like some basic questions, just like, are you ready? Like, are you willing to do whatever we suggest? Like what brought you to this point? And just reading even that one story is just like, you know, brought tears to my eyes. Like, I'm like, man, like this person gets kids, like that he doesn't get to see anymore. Like it's just, you know, and my hope would be that like someone like that, we help someone like that and they, you know, like the next golf tournament or whatever fundraiser we do, like they're the person that's up on stage talking about how they, you know, how they got help from this. And, you know, that would be, I mean, that would warm my heart more than anything to see someone like that. Yeah, I just, and yeah, being around, I'm excited to be around more miracles, right? Like I think that's one of the cool things with being in recovery is you see people come in, you know, in the, you know, 12-step rooms, like you see people come in and desperate, and, you know, sometimes people do that. I for me, like I needed treatment, I think. Like I see some people come in and they like, these are the people that I like have the utmost reverence for, is people who come in like actually like homeless and just go to like an NA meeting or an AA meeting, and they're just like able to somehow bus or walk to the meetings.
Wow.
And I'm just like, that is some other level shit. Most of the times what you see is people go to treatment and hopefully they figure out, this isn't a cure, right? Like treatment isn't a cure for addiction, right? It's a temporary reprieve where you're in a structured environment, you get to build some of your life back, and you can like, yeah, build some good habits, and then they introduce you to some kind of fellowship where you can continue your recovery, where it's like you know, it's a daily thing. I have to do something every day for my recovery or I'll start slipping. And so, yeah, it's usually what I see is people come in from treatment and they get that idea that they're not cured. They need to hang around with people who are in recovery, who have been clean for a long time, who've been through life on life's terms, who've like, you know, had people die and not gotten high, right? And like, or had, you know, lost jobs and still not gotten high. And like, you know, you need to be around those people and working a strong program to be able to like, you know, we recover. It's like one of those things, like we recover. I don't recover on my own. Like if I start thinking I've got this, like, you know, it won't take long for me to head back out, you know, and start thinking drugs are a good idea, or, you know, and like, it might just be like, oh, that drink looks like that looks pretty tasty. You know, the most turned up I get these days is I'll have a second cup of coffee, or, you know, if I'm feeling real frisky, I might take 2 ibuprofen, you know, ignore the label on there, and, you know, have 2 within 4 to 6 hours.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, dude.
Living on the edge.
I know.